Hello, Paula. Hey, Flora. Nice to see you. Dave, 30 seconds. Welcome to the Intermountain Healthcare Ironman 70.3 World Championship St. George, presented by the Utah Sports Commission. Very, very special to be back here. It feels like we were here only just a few days ago. Some of the people on the stage were here in May. We look forward to chatting to them shortly. A huge welcome to everybody watching online from around the world. This World Championship is massive, with 104 countries, nations, and territories represented, over 6,000 athletes, and more than 100 professional athletes. We look forward to hearing from our professional athletes shortly. To the members of the media, thank you for being here as well. You will get your opportunity to ask some questions once we're done on stage. I'd like to start by inviting the President and CEO of Ironman, Mr. Andrew Messick, on stage to say a few words.
Thank you, Paul, and welcome everybody. And it's great to be back. This weekend will be, the first time since 2019 when we've had 2 days of racing at the Ironman 70.3 World Championships. We think back to 2019 in Nice, it feels really like a lifetime ago. But we're here in St. George again for the 4th and 5th World Championships that we've had in, or 4th and 5th World Championships that we've had in the last 13 months. So it feels, we've been here a lot. And I was saying at our event that we had last night out at Entrada that it really is only when there's trouble that you find out who your real friends are. And through all that we have gone through and all that triathlon and the real endurance event industry has gone through in the last 3 years, our friends here in St. George have been really true and wonderful friends to all of us. And when we needed a place to put the 2021 Ironman World Championship, St. George, Utah stuck their hand up. And even for the 70.3 World Championships, our original intention was to be in New Zealand in 2020 and then in St. George in 2021. And obviously New Zealand didn't happen. We're moving that to 2024. And St. George was willing to, at the drop of a hat, host us, both last year and again for 2 days of racing this year. And as we think of, all that we've all gone through, to be able to have the support of a community, Intermountain Healthcare, the Utah Sports Commission, led by Jeff Robbins, Greater Zion, Kevin Lewis and his team here, to really be prepared to organize events and to be able to rally the communities, to rally the volunteers, and to make these extraordinary athletes to my right feel welcome, and to welcome in, to be welcomed into their community, and to be provided an opportunity to really show what they can do. It's been enormously rewarding, and the debt we feel to this area and all of our partners is really quite profound. But we're going to have 6,000 athletes race with us on Friday and Saturday, and it's the first time that we've really been able to be back in force. The best professional athletes in the world and the best age group athletes in the world. And so we're looking forward to a great show on Friday and Saturday, and we're just really happy to be here. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrew. So Andrew's alluded to the best athletes in the world, and some of them right here on the stage. We look forward to hearing from them. I'm going to hand out mics. We have our reigning and defending 70.3 world champions, and we also have the 2 reigning Olympic gold medalists with us. I think they all deserve a huge round of applause as we get ready to hear from them. From Canada, Paula Findlay, we'd like to start with you. I think you've got good memories of St. George. Didn't you become North American champion here?
Yeah, in 2018, I won maybe one of my first 70.3s here. The field was very different. I feel like I'm a much different athlete now, but it's always such a great feeling to come back here. And since then, I've been here 4 or 5 times, so I'm really familiar with the course and just really, really love it here.
That familiarity and loving it here, that's extra fuel in the tank, is it not?
Yeah, I think most of the women in this race have done it before, so it's not like I have any kind of course advantage, but it's fun to come back to a course that I know really well, and I know the hills well, and yeah, the weather's obviously a bit different this year than other years, but I think that I like the cold better than the heat, so it's good for me.
I suppose coming from Canada, that makes sense. I heard you saying earlier on that you've done the practice swim, and you said the water actually feels wonderful.
Yeah, the water's really beautiful. I think the transition from water to air will be the hardest part, but once you're in the water, it's actually really nice. So maybe they can extend the swim, make it longer.
Well, we could make it 2.4 miles if you'd like. Canada's Paula Findlay, thank you very much. And media, you'll get a chance to chat to us shortly. As we move the microphone on to Flora Duffy, Olympic gold medalist, reigning Olympic champion. Wasn't it the anniversary of your gold medal just not so long ago?
Yeah, well, I guess it was about 2-3 months ago now. So I'm a year and a bit in to being Olympic champion, which is pretty cool.
And it's still incredible, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like something I think about daily or anything, but yeah, every now and then you get reminded and you're like, wow, yeah, I achieved that over a year ago, and it was definitely the greatest accomplishment I've achieved in my career as a triathlete, and was my biggest goal. So yeah, it's pretty incredible to make that dream come true.
Looking back at your 70.3 win in South Africa, I think it was Buffalo City, end of January, beginning of February 2020, when we didn't realize the world was going to change the way it has. It was you and Emma had a huge battle, and I think at one stage, I remember saying, oh, and Emma Pallant-Brown's going to win, and next thing, under the bridge, it's Flora Duffy. You dropped back, but that fighting spirit in yours got you over the finish line first.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that race, I mean, so much has happened since January 2020, and that's actually the only 70.3 I've done. I have tried to do others. I think everyone knows those stories behind the races. But yeah, Emma and I raced against one another. I had a disaster on the bike. Emma came flying by me. And then I think maybe Emma on the run said something with nutrition. And so I think Emma started suffering on the run. And then I was like, Flora, you have got to get your butt in gear here, because I was way back at this point. I was like, you've really got to redeem yourself. So thankfully I had some good running legs. I don't really know how I managed to catch Emma. I think both of us finished that race and we're like, what happened? But yeah, I won, and that's my only 70.3. So if I can run like that on Friday, I'll be very happy.
Fighting talk from Flora Duffy, representing Bermuda. Thank you very, very much. If you're going to have those legs, we all want those legs. Holly Lawrence, 2016 Ironman 70.3 world champion, Milulubar. That was a phenomenal race. But I mean, that gets talked about, but there's 17 70.3 victories to your name already, this year as well. And it seems all your focus has been on Friday. For Friday, should I say.
Yeah, I mean, I always aim to build towards the 70.3 world champs during the year, so always want to put my strongest performance out for this time of the year. And this year it's been a bit later than normal, but I think it took me a little bit of time to gain my momentum this year, so I'm kind of being glad that it's a bit later.
We're going back to the two-day format, and if we just cast our eyes back 2 weeks ago to incredible racing in Kona at the Ironman World Championship, and the amazing race both the women and the men put forward. What did you take from that, if anything, leading up to Friday?
Yeah, I mean, just anything. It was like just a huge, event to watch and just be totally motivated by, seeing Chelsea and new mom and, everything else, and just the women getting the day that they deserved, being, first across the line. And I think, it was an exciting race, and just, made us all at home really motivated.
and some exciting racing coming up on Friday as well. Thank you very much. Representing Great Britain but living in the US, Holly Lawrence. Emma Pallant-Brown, 70.3 podiums for you before this year, already a World Triathlon long distance second place podium, quite a lot of wins. Ironman 70.3 Zellamsee Kaprun in Austria just approximately 2 months ago, another great victory, wonderful confidence boost for Friday.
Yeah, I think it's actually been really different 2 months. I've never had the result that I wanted to at a World Champs. I've had good leads in and had good races, but we always felt that I kind of peaked mid-season. So we're trying something different, and 2 months not to race is quite a long time for me. So I've been in South Africa at home and had a really good block. So yeah, now I'm going into this race like starting afresh the year, and hopefully I can have a good performance.
So some people might think, you know, get to a race venue a little bit earlier to acclimatize, etc. But in reality, if I'm not mistaken, you live in Johannesburg. Altitude is very similar to here in St. George, and it's also sort of dry and cold.
Yeah, really similar conditions, and it's a little bit higher, so that was kind of the thinking behind coming in a little bit later. We landed, I think we got here 2 a.m. Tuesday morning, but the jet lag kind of works in our favor. I'm up at 4 a.m. ready to go. So yeah, hopefully a late swing in will be fine.
Emma Pallant-Brown, representing Great Britain, thank you very much. Taylor Knibb for the USA, a superb race for you last year here as well with a podium. If I'm third position, surely makes you hungry for another step or maybe 2 steps on the podium on home soil for Friday.
Well, I feel like last year's race, Lucy, was kind of a whole different race. So that jump is kind of big based on what she put out. So we'll see. Anything can happen. And there are a lot of new, strong women. Well, not new, but other women in the field who might not have been here last year.
But very much sort of home advantage, would you say, is in your favor? Or does that not matter?
Well, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people base themselves in the United States. Like, home is where you make it. So if this feels like home to you, great. I'm grateful to race in the United States. I think it's more in the lead up that it's more beneficial in terms of like just having some familiarities, especially if you go to the grocery store. That's what helps me at least.
What's your go-to in the grocery store before a race? Other than cake?
Oh no, but those are crumble cookies, which actually are in St. George. There are a few locations. It's a chain, but
New sponsor.
no, but then also, yeah, just regular food, I guess, that I like.
So there is that sense of being at home, and I'm sure it will play into your favor. Thank you very much, Taylor Knibb, for the USA. Lucy, Charles-Barclay, an incredible day for you and a reminder of a wonderful return from injury just 2 weeks ago in Kailua Kona. I see you've used your Roka wetsuit to very, very good effect, but not at the reservoir, but rather in the snow recently.
Yeah, I felt like I've acclimatized quite well to the colder weather. We've obviously been up the mountain and we did have a big snowstorm, and I had a brand new wetsuit that needed breaking in, and we couldn't actually get down the mountain, so kind of playing around in the snow in the wetsuit was my best option.
Just talk us through the last 2 weeks and sort of changing the mindset and getting the body fresh again post an Ironman World Championship leading into a 70.3 World Championship.
Yeah, I think in general it's been a very different year. I mean, this will only be my 4th race of the year. Normally I would have raced a lot more by this point. So I feel fresher than I normally would. And we always knew that if I was going to race here after Kona, I kind of needed to finish Kona, put that behind me, and then just focus fully on this race. And I feel like we've done that really well mentally. And actually my body seems to have kept up too, and it's feeling pretty fresh. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
And the memories of breaking that tape first last year and your first World Championship title.
Yeah, last year was just an epic day. Like, everything went to plan. It's definitely the best I've felt over the distance. So just taking that tape was an amazing moment. Obviously, it was the first time I got a world title, and I feel like I'd come so close over the Ironman distance. So to do it on the 70.3 was amazing. There was a lot of emotion there, and just coming back to St. George, walking around the town, I kind of got the memories from last year. So if I can do anything close to last year's performance, then I'll be over the moon.
Thank you very much. Our defending champion representing Great Britain, Lucy Charles-Barclay. We're going to move to the very far right and chat to Germany's Frederick Funk. Also, we chatted about Emma's win in Zell am See not so long ago. Likewise, a win for you in Zell am See not so long ago.
Yeah, that was definitely a huge confidence booster, but I still had another race between where I DNF'd, and in my head I'm just as good as my last race. So yeah, I'm hungry for the race on Saturday and have something to prove to myself.
Often that just adds a little bit of extra wood to the fire. Just talk us through your thoughts on this course and how it suits your strengths.
Yeah, I mean it's a really tough bike course, especially on the second half. And yeah, like when everyone gets tired, you can really. I'm just getting started on the bike course, and yeah, and also the cold I think plays into my advantage. So yeah, I think I can make a difference there.
Cold perhaps just in the morning, but it's going to be warming up in the afternoon. The racing we know will be super hot. Germany's Frederick Funk, thank you very much. We're going to move the microphone across to Kristian Blummenfelt, representing Norway. May was fantastic for you here in St. George. You must love this place.
Yeah, I feel I've been here a bit much now with the third World Championship race here. Been in the course quite a lot, so yeah, looking forward to the race.
We chatted to Lucy and asked about that 2 weeks and the recovery, and there's still all eyes on. I haven't heard the words the Norwegian hype train much the last 2 weeks. I think you kind of dominated that previously, but there's still all eyes on Team Norway.
Yeah, I think like 3 weeks in between the full and a half distance should definitely be doable, like getting really ready again and start feeling sharp in the training, and think like the race in Kona shouldn't really impact this one too much. So yeah, just excited for another race.
So Gustav took the win in Kona. Are you swapping places in St. George?
Yeah, I guess we have to. Like he took my full distance title, so it's just even though you can't really undo anything here by winning this one, it's like, not like you can win Kona by winning here. I feel it's at least a plaster on the sore.
Thank you very much. Kristian Blummenfelt representing Norway. Good luck. For the USA, Eric Lagerstrom, lovely to have you on the stage. Just before we talk about racing, I just want to talk about how, one of your objectives other than podiums at races is to grow triathlon.
Yeah, I've always been a huge ski film fan, and skateboarding is kind of where I started, and I really feel like that helped me develop a love for those sports. And kind of early on in my career in triathlon, I wanted to bring some of that sort of vibe and energy into our sport and media. So that's kind of a nice alternative thing for me to think about besides just training every day.
I would imagine going with that is the attention that comes around doing well at races. You won 70.3 Santa Cruz. A great result here also just helps increase your platform and the awareness that you're trying to create.
Yeah, ultimately, a huge result kind of does boil down to a really big piece of content or a big piece of attention, and the same as putting out a big movie or something like that. And for me, I do get really excited about races when I feel like Santa Cruz, I drove down in my van and I slept in it, and then I raced and I won and everything. And it sounded like this really big epic adventure, and that gets me excited. And just like this race, going here and having a big result, when a lot of people maybe put me in that box of media guy taking pictures, does this and this and this, then having a big result here is kind of like a really cool stamp of legitimacy.
So the media hat comes off and the athlete hat goes on, and you're lined up against some incredible pro men. It should be a massive day on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Everybody here is so incredible, and I feel really honored to be on this stage right now.
Thank you very much. USA's Eric Lagerstrom. Appreciate it. Representing Denmark, Miki Taagholt. Miki, fourth place here for you last year. Fantastic result. It's a relatively young career in the middle distance racing. What memories from that do you bring to your race on Saturday?
Yeah, I definitely had my breakthrough race here last year. And being back here is amazing. I have so many amazing memories for last year. Love the course, love the atmosphere, love the city, love the support I feel I get when I'm going around in the city. Love to have so many Danes here with me. A little sad that Daniel's not here, but I guess Magnus will have to do.
You mentioned Magnus, but I think I saw earlier this week, either you or Magnus saying there's definitely going to be a Dane on the podium.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there'll be a Dane on the podium come Saturday.
And what will that Dane's name be?
Well, I mean, there will be 5 of us on the start line, so I'm guessing 20% chance it will be Miki.
Thank you very much, Denmark's Miki Taagholt. Also representing the USA, Sam Long. Sam, I know we chatted in May. Good to chat to you again now, but let's look back again and cast your memories, just like we have with some of the others, to your second place here last year in St. George at the 70.3 World Champs.
Yeah, second place was great, and it was a standout performance. And the story that actually sticks to my mind is a fan was at Sand Hollow here on Thursday and wanted a photo with Gustav and Kristian and asked for a personalized video for me. And Gustav nailed it on the head. He said, second was great, but let's be clear, second is a long, long ways off from first. And so that's actually what I'm thinking about now.
So thinking about that, and then your choice not to do Kona, that means you are extremely focused on Saturday and the top step.
Yeah, I don't think it's like something that's like, okay, I have to, because I didn't do Kona, this is like the be-all, end-all. I think I look at the whole season, and I chose a lot of matches over the whole course of the season, and Kona just wasn't my calling this year, and so this is important. But every time you get on a race, every time you start a race, it's important, and any world championship is super important. So yeah, it's super important, I guess, but it's always super important.
So I think it's super important. Sam, you also, not many US athletes go across the pond and race in Europe, but you did this year. It looked like you had a lot of fun. The photographs of you and the announcers on the finish line in Poland were quite something. But other than very, very excited announcers, what did you learn and what have you brought back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm American, so I don't want to praise the Europeans too much, but the Europeans are very, very fast, and they have a very deep fields, and so I think it helped elevate my game, and they were actually all incredibly hospitable while I was there. They showed me around. It was just a great time, and yeah, a great time to be an athlete, a great time to be a human, and yeah.
Thank you very much, USA, Sam Long. All the best. Good luck. Our defending Ironman 70.3 world champion and new Ironman world champion, Norway's Gustav Iden. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling okay, I guess. It was cool to win the full, as well as having my 2 7.3 titles. So it's been a good career so far.
Classic Norwegian understatement. You know, there's always that talk about the database training and all the build up to the races. And even though, you know, Kona was your second Ironman, but you had all the data and you played to the data. What is that data saying post-Hawaii leading into St. George?
I think it's really hard to bring data into the emotional and mental impact winning such a big event. So after the race, I would say I'm really motivated to do well here. But for me, everything has been going into Kona, and you kind of feel satisfied, but also empty in a way, coming out of such a big victory. So it's not that I'm going into this race as I've done before, like my career really depend to win this race. Like, I feel like the previous years I never done that well going into 7.3, and I feel like I have to prove my career and like defend my sponsors and everything. But for now, I did so well in Kona. I feel it's hard to go into this race hungry, but I'm still gonna do my best to perform.
Somehow I think the chaps sitting next to him and those not here are going, interesting. The course is slightly different this year to what you won on last year.
Yeah, and I think it suits me better. I actually didn't enjoy the run course too much last year. And now I have some new shoes that I prefer running a bit more flat in them. So for sure, this course suits me better. It's a shame that we don't run or race the same day, because last year it was a challenge for me to lap the girls. So it's going to be hard when they start one day in advance. So, but it's going to be good to have some time to watch the girls, because that's always something you miss out on when you race the same day. So I'm going to bring out my T-shirt, wave it around for the girls, and I expect the same on Saturday for them.
Thank you very much, Norway's Gustav Iden. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to our media. Please, you can stand up, state your name, state your media affiliation, and wait till we bring the microphone to you for your questions. But this is a great opportunity to hear from the best in the world. All righty. Do we have somebody? There we go, Bob Babbitt.
Hi. Hey, Holly, for the last number of years, you've trained primarily in LA. This summer, you've spent a lot of times in Boulder, and it seemed like down in Arizona. Do you feel, what was the reason for moving the training around? Do you think it was helpful?
So the question was, you used to do a lot of your training in LA, but now you've moved more to Boulder and Arizona, and what was the reason behind that? Is that specifically to adapt your training? Bob Babbitt.
Yeah, to be honest, I just wanted to try Boulder. We kind of went to Flagstaff earlier in the year, and LA's just been difficult since the pandemic for training, and you know, change is always good, changing things up, and it's just been really great. Like, you know, I kind of wore it as a badge of honor for so long, not being to Boulder and being like the only triathlete that's never been to Boulder, and you know, day one, I was like, damn, I can understand why everyone is here, because it was just so easy to just slot in with like different swim groups, and yeah, just the training there is just so easy, and it's actually been good leading up to this because it's kind of got colder, so it's kind of, yeah, been good prep, I would say.
Colder Boulder.
Yeah.
Any more?
We're moving.
More of our media, just please state your name, your media affiliation. We'll bring the mic to you. Wonderful opportunity to get your questions in. In that case, a massive thank you to the members of media for being here with us. A huge thank you to our professional male and female athletes. They deserve one more round of applause. Thank you to everybody who's been with us online. Make sure you're part of our incredible live broadcast on Friday and Saturday. This is the Intermountain Healthcare Ironman 70.3 World Championship presented by the Utah Sports Commission. And we're going to get our athletes standing now for a wonderful group photo. I'll grab the mic. Take it away. Thanks, Gustav.